think there's a few things. One, when you're talking about not just juvenile justice, but kids in general, and some of the challenges that we've seen the last few years, both in terms of shutting schools down, moving it all virtual during the pandemic, some of the learning loss that we're dealing with, the foster care system that's out there. We made some progress the last 2 years on some of the foster care recommendations. Unfortunately, the governor vetoed some oversight boards that I thought was really needed last year, signed most of the other parts of the package to update and upgrade some parts of our foster care system. Working to combine behavioral and physical health, I think, is something that could be helpful in terms of trying to create better pathways and create better outcomes for our children. And I do think some of these stories coming out of the Child Protective Services that we've seen over the last few months, I don't know if you've read some of these heartbreaking stories, both partially domestic abuse and behavioral health issues, mental health issues, resulting in children dying, presents a real challenge, I think, for all of us of what kind of accountability do we have within the current system that's there. And so one, I'd like to see a real accountability to making sure that our children that are stuck in bad situations, whether it's because of mental health or because of domestic abuse, that we figured out, those in foster care that we work to figure it out. And then you do have those that have made it, unfortunately, to the juvenile justice area, where how do we ensure that we work to prevent recidivism in the long term, to make sure that those individuals get some services that make sure that there's development of talent, development of the personalities, but with some of these histories of whether it's mental health issues or domestic violence issues, there's some long-term effects that are there. My sister she worked at a group called House of Providence. She was a house mother in southeast Michigan, in Detroit, where they cared for 13 to 17-year-old young teenage girls that couldn't find a forever home, that were stuck in a foster care system. And she adopted a 16-year-old girl that over a 3-year period saw 20 different foster homes. No concept of what love is. No base of home. And I think it's a responsibility of all of us to try to figure out how do you create those conditions that there is that forever home. And I know we worked in a bipartisan method last year on passing some updates, but there's more work to be done on accountability measures with Child Protective Services within our foster care system, and I think we need to figure some of that out first.